How do you make wheat paste?
Wheat paste.
Yes.
Okay, I gave you an answer beforehand. It's flippin' easy, okay? Tell me something like this is how they used to do it 100 years ago, 120 years ago and everything else. All the old houses, before we did sheetrock and everything else, was newspaper and wheat paste. That's how we did it. Over and over and over and over until we made a wall. But no, simple things today are no longer used. So the magic of just flour and water, and if you're doing it inside, just a little bit of vinegar, you can make some beautiful stuff with your walls. So if anything, if I can turn anyone into doing their own stuff, I appreciate that. And the reason why people don't really do wheat paste is, well, there are a variety of factors, but ignorance to what it actually is a big one, which is kind of like just flour and water, people. Flour and water and laser prints. Or you could just use paper with any kind of latex paint. Something that doesn't run when wet. But there's the one aspect that we're losing in our society, and that is people to claim their community as their own. We are the people. It is our community. There's nothing wrong with building a better, beautiful community by doing it yourself without asking for permission. Mm-hmm. And that's a big one for me. Huge one. So whenever I see anybody doing anything in the community, I like it. Yes.
What do you think is the appeal to wheat paste as a medium?
As a medium? Well, a lot of people don't even think of it as a medium, right? That's the first thing. Alright? So as a medium, it has to be kind of like discovered, or I don't know, get into the mainstream somehow, which certain artists have, like JR and everything else, but it's not really, they don't really see it as its own medium, which is kind of funny.
Because it has so much history attached to it.
Pardon me?
It has so much history attached to it.
It has so much history that's just been totally ignored. Completely ignored, completely forgotten, completely not even, what's a good word for it, any merit. And I think that the reason why that is it goes back to, it's a working class medium. That's all it is. I think it's attracted some pretty cool people. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Pretty cool people. I'm talking about people who they want to say something, but they're street smart. They realize that whatever they have to put up and everything else has to be able to pass that test of being acceptable. But at the same time, you're doing something kind of different or whatever, right? So to be able to have longevity and to be able to be accepted, you have to be really smart. It's one of those mediums where it's very simple, but it's really difficult to excel at. And a lot of wheat paste artists, they'll use the same image and paste up the same image, fine, whatever. Some artists do individual things and everything else. But what they all have in common is that they always spot out different places where to go and everything else. And how they go about it and everything else. That is experience. That is like gaining a little bit more kind of like, not notoriety, I'd say more kind of like respect, because to be able to pull down this, it's pretty damn easy. Mm-hmm. So anytime that you see a wheat paste artist able to have things up on the side of a building where they get no permission, and it's up there for months, years, they have to have some connection with the community. And that's what I'm trying to say to you. Wheat paste artists, they're kind of cool. They have connection with that community. Mm-hmm. I mean, to have a hate on for a wheat paste artist, it's usually misplaced anger.
So if someone is new to wheat paste, what are the main things that they should know? The main tips?
Main tips?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would turn around to them and say to them, hey, start off small. Learn it. Try to get what you want to do, you know, down to a kind of like an art form. So find your kind of genre, find your kind of like meme, find your kind of style. But work at it. Don't worry if you don't get it right away. And just go from there and you practice. But just start off small. And be nice. And don't go over anyone else's shit. Mostly, be cool. Anyone tries to argue with you, don't put up with that shit. But don't be a jerk.
What do you mean anyone tries to argue with you? Like someone on the street?
Yeah,
a property manager?
You know how many people on the street who are total strangers that have nothing to do with the building turns around and says that they own this building or the property manager? First thing you do is you just, yeah, prove it. You own this building? Prove it. But, you know, if you have to kind of like, you know, give someone a look, give them a look. You have to, you know, turn around and say, hey, I mean, it isn't like this isn't something for, if you're not confident in yourself, you're not confident, and you don't have, say, somebody to go with you who has that confidence, don't do it.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
That's true. You gotta stand your own on the street. You gotta be street smart.
You gotta be street smart.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And like street smart doesn't mean like, you know, blah, blah, blah. You know, it has to be.
How about handle yourself if you're approached by some...
Well, it depends on how far you can go, right? Because like, you don't have to go where you have to worry about being street smart. Because you could be just going around just doing posts. No one's gonna do anything to you then.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can go really small and no one's going to do boo.
Mm-hmm.
I mean tiny. It's just easy. But like I said, do it during the day. Do not think that you're lurking at night and that you got a cape on. Do it during the day. A ski mask. Don't. Alright? Like the thing is that I do whole size of buildings, like shoe and everything else. I'm not wearing any red vest, I'm not doing any special thing or whatever. I'm just going out there doing it.